Thanks for tuning in. This is The Life of Miner. And let's check out week 89 of my mining payouts.
I know what I do and I know what I need.
So at the beginning of these payout videos, let's go over the date and time when I took these payouts. I took these payouts on December 27th of 2020, about 6:30 p.m. US Eastern Time. And of course, the price of Ethereum as of today is around $693.54. Now, I will go over my electricity bill and my YouTube profits at the end of the month, which is next week. So like previous weeks, I've been mining Ethereum, and I do average around 2.4 gigahashes mining Ethereum. So I've been mining Monero, and I do average around 6.5 kilohashes mining Monero. Okay, so now pulling my Excel and checking out what I mined. I did mine around 1.08 Ethereum, equaling around $746.52. And I mined around 0.03 Monero, equaling around $4.79. So if I did sell everything as of today, I would have made $751.31. And if you did want to check out my GPU count, I do have a total of about 75 GPUs, and all of my GPUs are mining Ethereum and my CPU is mining Monero. And I do have 2 mining farms. Okay, so for this week's fun clip, I do have 2 news clips on Bitcoin. So let's check this out.
I totally get why in a year like we've had that Bitcoin and other, safe haven assets, if you will, would have done well. But what happens if you get into, you get into 2021? Everybody gets vaccinated, or enough people, get vaccinated, and we get back to some semblance of normalcy, and it's more of a risk-on environment, and assets like Bitcoin fall out of favor as a result. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there's 2 things to kind of understand about the market structure. There's one, what I call the Bitcoin black hole. So this is Grayscale, this is the Bitwise index. These instruments where basically you can invest in a private placement, they create units or shares, and they go and they buy Bitcoin with the money that comes in that private placement. That Bitcoin cannot come back out. There's no redemption feature of those funds. And so that's not going to go back into the market in kind of what I call the addressable circulating supply. Also, when you have corporations, Square, MicroStrategy, and others, putting it in their treasury on their corporate balance sheets, that's not coming back out into the market. And so what you continue to do is people are basically taking Bitcoin off the market. And so you don't need tons and tons of new interest. But I actually think that we're underestimating the psychological shift that investors have gone through. The US government just ran an almost $4 trillion marketing campaign for the devaluation of the US dollar. And investors are listening, they're paying attention, and they're choosing to move their capital into an area where they can protect their wealth. And Bitcoin serves not only a store of value, perspective, but also an asymmetric type potential return. And I think that we just haven't had an asset like that. And as people wake up and understand it, you're going to continue to see more and more capital flow into this asset in the coming years.
Kevin, it doesn't sound like your buddy from Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, thinks it's a nothing burger and irrelevant. I just saw a story last night when I was reading up to prepare for this segment. Headline: Dallas Mavericks offers special merchandise discounts for Bitcoin buyers. So, that's another arena, pardon the pun, where you could see legitimacy to Bitcoin from people like Mark Cuban, your buddy, who are trying to make this a more relevant part of people's lives.
I know Mark quite well. He also was quoted saying he thinks bananas are a bigger common currency, and he's probably right. I want to go to Pomp's issue about this idea that you're protecting your capital buying Bitcoin. There is no evidence that it has a reverse correlation to correcting markets. Last March, if you owned Bitcoin, you got slaughtered, and you had a lot more volatility than the S&P. My whole point is there's a lot of interesting ideas here, and certainly the fact that a Bitcoin, all the other ones haven't worked, but Bitcoin has. This concept of a digital currency is one that would work, and my whole point is for all of us, including you, Scott, who monitor and work within the financial services multi-trillion-dollar global industry, is this a nothing burger? It's not even a single cell amoeba. If you took all of the market cap of Bitcoin, totally irrelevant. I love to talk about it. It's fun to watch it go up and down. But during the day when the bell rings, I don't talk to anybody that's worried about this. They do not put capital to work in Bitcoin. Maybe it's fun if you're an individual high net worth person that wants to just play with it. But the financial markets deal with regulators, and you can only operate within the confines of those rules. And so when we glorify something like this, it really has nothing to do with the financial markets that make the whole world work. And no institutional or sovereign fund investor I've ever talked to has said to me, go index all of the cryptocurrencies for me. And the reason they don't want to own that is they fear the regulator. And watch what happens one day, and I'm waiting for this one. I'm waiting for the day that one of these regulators comes down hard on Bitcoin. Grown men are going to weep when that happens. Well, you'll never see a loss of capital like that ever in your life. It'll be brutal. Okay, and I'm just saying you got to get ready for it. To that point, listen, I'm ready to risk the rest of the. I got $52 here. I could lose it all, and I don't know where 1-800 operators are standing by to explain what happened. It's not going to. This is just ether. That's all it is.
The proposals came out, I believe, on December 18th or thereabouts, and yet we did see the record hit over the weekend. Joe, Mike, and I were talking about the drivers of Bitcoin and the rally this time around, and I was wondering, what do you think it primarily is?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the drivers are things that we've all been talking about for a long time, which is that I think institutional capital, I think macro investors who are focused on what is taking place with sovereign debt, what is taking place with the debasement of currencies. These are major considerations as people think about new forms of stores of value. People often make a reference to, Bitcoin is eating market share from gold, and you can see the charts and see how that looks. But I think actually what we're seeing ultimately is there's $100 trillion of sovereign debt, and one has to, and that's denominated in fiat currencies, and one has to ask themselves if those are the instruments for the next 50 years.
You mentioned the debasement of currencies, and that's one reason why the likes of a Square and a MicroStrategy are moving their cash balances to Bitcoin this year, and in a very big way. As the creator of a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, Jeremy, where does that put the US dollar coin if one of the reasons why Bitcoin is rallying is the dollar depreciating?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's sort of, investment assets, and then there's, transactional mediums. And our belief has always been that the predominant, reserve currencies would best be represented as digital currencies, fiat digital currencies. And that, for at least the foreseeable future, we're going to, receive our salaries in fiat currencies, and we'll buy cookies and milk and pay rent in those. And so whether it's, something that's going to price a bond or is going to be used as a day-to-day payment, we need these traditional, liabilities of central banks to be represented as digital currency forms. That's what's given birth to, stablecoin arrangements like USDC and Center, which governs it. And those are exploding, right? USDC's grown like 600% this year. And we're in the very early stages. We expect ultimately there to be trillions of dollars of value in stablecoins in the coming years.
All right, so thanks for checking out this week's mining payout. Stay tuned for next week's as well. And shout out to this week's random comment winner. And if you do want to be featured, just write a comment below. And if you do want to catch these videos live, I do stream live on Twitch at twitch.tv/thelifeofaminer every Sunday, 2:30 p.m. US Eastern Time. And if you do need any type of help, definitely join the Discord. I or someone knowledgeable will definitely help you out. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you enjoyed it, sub if excited to see what's next. But of course, thanks for watching, and always, happy mining.
Thanks for watching The Life of a Miner. This is Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. You don't want me to get angry and turn Super Saiyan, so make sure you subscribe to The Life of a Miner. I'm also the narrator. Next time on The Life of a Miner.